We've been warned Sydney faces public transport chaos when light rail construction begins, but the crisis is already here for the heavy rail network. Exclusive figures obtained by 7 News show peak hour trains on most lines are bursting at the seams. Sydney's booming population and the threat to bus services from light rail means it'll only get worse.
For these passengers, the battle for seats is well and truly lost. They're now battling for space. According to Sydney Trains, this is 160% full, standing room only.
When you see a train with 135–45%, that's every seat taken and most standing areas full, even in the upper and lower deck. Probably 12 or 1,300 people on that train. 100%
means all seats are taken. When it reaches 135% plus, it means at least 40 people are standing on each carriage. And according to Sydney Trains data obtained exclusively by 7 News, it's happening more. These are the worst lines in the morning peak. The Northern Line is averaging up to 148% capacity. The Inner West 138%, Western 137%, the Southern Line 137%, and the Illawarra 132%. In all, 9 of the 12 morning peak services are averaging over 100%.
If you're standing on a crowded train, it's going to pose a problem for you as an individual. We know that certainly some lines there is that constraint.
Sydney commuters took 316 million train rides last year. That's an increase of 3.8%, with 3% growth expected next year.
They're better in some ways to try and avoid the peak periods if they can, go outside the shoulders of the peak.
The good news is the run home is much smoother. The data shows that most of the PM peaks are now less crowded than they were 2 years ago.
We have seen some gradual improvements as a result of the timetable changes.
But the opposition wants more.
Look, there's already been delays in the tender process for new inner-city carriages. The government really needs to get a focus on this.
Let's go live now to Lee Jelisek at Redfern Station. Lee, does the government have any solutions apart from telling us not to catch trains in peak hour?
Well, Mark, the Transport Minister says the big change will be when the light rail lines and the North West Rail link are finished. That North West Rail line will be finished by 2019. Before then, work will start on a second harbour rail crossing that will go from Chatswood underneath the harbour through the city and connect to the Bankstown line and provide some much-needed relief, not just on that line, but across the network. That's the good news. The bad news is it won't be finished for another 9 years, Mark.
It's a long time to stand, Lee. Thank you.